Okay, hello again. It's now 9:42, so we've been in here for actually about 50 minutes instead of 45, but that's alright, because what you actually want to do this is anywhere from half an hour to 60 minutes. We'll find out what our ending temperature here was. So stick this right in the middle of the grain bed and see if we lost any temperature today. We're still great within the range. Now when you're taking we're draining it now, and then we're going to sparge it afterwards. We just jumped up to 152. And when we first start draining this, we're going to get some particulates in there. So we're going to take about, maybe 4 cups, drain it into here, pour that gently back in on the top. And then we're going to continue to drain the rest of it into this bucket, and then pour what we get into that bucket of boiling water. And that fixes the fermentability. At this point we want everything clean, but we don't really have to worry about sanitizing because we're going to boil everything for an hour. So I'm going to start my draining here. We get to about 4 cups. It's dark, which we're making a stout, so yeah, it's going to be dark for a stout. So stop that. I'm going to let that start again in here, just in this pot. We'll try and minimize the splashing. The hose gets really rubbery with this hot liquid there, which is okay. Now I'm going to gently put this back in on top of the grain bed. I'm going to try and move it around a bit here. We don't want to disturb the grain bed too much, because again the grain bed is also acting as a filter for us. Alright, we're just about all drained out here. There's just a very tiny trickle coming out, drip, drip, drip. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. My valve here. Finish that dripping. And just to keep this end of it clean, I'll put it back in here. So this now, nice dark liquid, I'm going to pour right into here, in my boiling water. Let it set down, which isn't boiling so much anymore.
Just turned it down.
We just turned it down a minute ago. There it goes. And pour that right in. Whoosh! And that, put a little lid in here. That'll minimize how much of the sparge water goes right down the middle, because you don't want it to go right down the middle. You want it kind of spread out in there. This is my sparge water, which was 180 degrees. Ideally, you want to have just a couple of inches above your grains in there. And grains floating in the top, and it's still kind of bubbling down. And we need to let this sit for a few minutes too. And you can see the bubbles coming up as it bubbles down. Anyway, put the lid back on that and let that sit. That needs to sit for about 10 minutes. And we'll be back in 10 minutes time to drain this out. Actually, we may not even video that because we're going to drain the same thing. We do the same thing we did before, drain it out into here. We're going to pour it into there. And then we're going to take our gravity reading. And what I'm doing is I'm going to boil about 3.5 gallons of wort. And then I'm going to add that to cold water to cool it right down. See you in a bit. This wort in here, beg your pardon, is boiling. I don't know if you can see that in there through all the steam. There's quite a bit of that steam stuff going on. We're going to pour this right into that boiling wort. I'm going to actually turn it down a little bit first. Woo, splash some on my finger. There, we finished the boil. This is about 3.5 gallons in there. It'll be a little bit less from the boil off. I've got 2 gallons of water, cold water, here in the carboy. And I'm just going to take this hot liquid and pour it right in here. This has got a built-in small mesh strainer, which will help strain out the hops that we put in here. And any little bits of grain that may have been left, although we hope there weren't any. Pouring is the hard part, because it's heavy. So, the other advantage pouring has is that it does get air into here. And we'll keep that on. This just keeps the air out. There's nothing in the airlock just yet. I'm going to go and get that now. I'm going to get some vodka to put in there. Vodka isn't just for drinking. It fact, I never drink it. I just put it in here. The vodka is a high enough alcohol content that nothing is going to grow in it as it sits here, so it's going to stay a clean, sterile solution. And if any of the water happens, if any of the air gets sucked in, or any of the liquid, I should say, gets sucked into the beer, it's vodka. It's not going to contaminate the beer. So we let that cool still. We still feel kind of warm here. Now, yeah, you can get thermometers for this and stuff to give it a test. Quite honestly, I just do it by warm. You know, if it feels like it's down to about room temperature, you're ready to pitch. This probably another half hour I'll be ready.